At 65, Johnny Whitaker is finally ready to open up about a man who changed his life forever. His Family Affair co-star, the late Brian Keith. For decades, fans of the beloved 1960s sitcom have remembered the touching on-screen bond between Uncle Bill Keith and young Jody Davis, Whitaker. But behind the scenes, their relationship was far deeper and more emotional than most ever knew. Now, after years of silence, Whitaker is revealing the truth about Brian Keith, a man he once described as both a mentor and a father figure, whose quiet strength and later heartbreak left a lasting mark on his soul. When Family Affair first premiered in 1966, Johnny Whitaker was just a child, a bright, freckle-faced boy suddenly thrust into stardom. Brian Keith, already a seasoned actor known for his gruff charm, took on the role of his on-screen uncle. From the very beginning, their chemistry was undeniable. "He wasn't just acting," Whitaker recently said. "Brian treated me like I was really his nephew." Off camera, Keith went out of his way to protect and guide his young co-star, teaching him about professionalism, timing, and humility in a business that often eats child actors alive. "He was tough but kind," Whitaker explained. He'd say, "Kid, if you're gonna do this, do it right." And I never forgot that. But behind Keith's calm, fatherly demeanor was a man carrying the heavy burdens of fame and personal pain. Whitaker remembers moments when Brian seemed distant, even sad. "There were days he'd come in quiet," he said softly. "You could tell something was weighing on him." At the time, Johnny didn't understand. He only knew that his friend seemed lonely. As he grew older, Whitaker learned about the tragedies that shaped Brian Keith's life, the struggles in his marriages, the pressure of maintaining his career, and the deep grief that haunted him later in life. "Brian was strong, but he was human," Whitaker admitted. "And like all of us, he had demons." Their bond remained strong long after Family Affair ended in 1971. Whitaker would occasionally visit Keith or speak to him by phone, cherishing their rare friendship. But in 1997, tragedy struck when Brian Keith took his own life at the age of 75, just months after his daughter's passing. The news shattered Whitaker. "It broke my heart," he said. "I couldn't believe the man who had always been my rock was gone." He later revealed that Brian's death was one of the hardest losses of his life. A painful reminder of how even the strongest people can struggle in silence for years. Whitaker avoided talking publicly about Keith, saying the pain was simply too great. But now, with the passage of time, he feels ready to honor his old friend's memory honestly. "Brian was the kind of man who didn't show weakness," he said. "He believed in standing tall, no matter what. But underneath that tough exterior was one of the kindest hearts I've ever known." Whitaker also confessed that much of his own strength, his ability to survive Hollywood's dark side and overcome personal struggles with addiction, came from the lessons he learned from Keith. "He taught me how to be a professional, but he also taught me how to be a man," he said. Today, when Johnny Whitaker looks back on Family Affair, it's not the fame or success that stands out, but the bond he shared with Brian Keith. "He was more than a co-star," Whitaker said with emotion. "He was family." At 65, Whitaker's reflections aren't just about loss. They're about gratitude. The truth he finally tells is simple but powerful. Behind Brian Keith's gruff exterior was a man full of compassion, humor, and love. "I wish he knew how much he meant to me," Whitaker added quietly. "He helped shape who I am, and I'll carry that with me forever." It's a bittersweet truth, one born from both joy and sorrow, a final tribute to the man who played his uncle on TV but filled a father's role in real life.